The Maritime Museum is the jewel in the crown of Hull Maritime. It's the most beautiful landmark right in the middle of Queen Victoria Square in the centre of the city. And what we wanted to do is make this beautiful Grade II star listed building shine. This really is a story of Hull, a people of Hull, and the city's development over centuries.
If you look at the history of Hull, starting looking at sort of 800 years of history, Hull made its income from the river and the water. It's hugely important and it's hugely significant to everybody that lives in the city. Hull has always been about the sea, like in 1299 when we were granted Royal City status, and City of Culture Year gave us a real confidence to look at projects like the Hull Maritime project, which were in scale larger than anything we would ever have considered before. It's around £70 million. It gave us the confidence to look at what the legacy really could look like, and it gave partners like the National Lottery confidence that we could deliver on really ambitious schemes.
The building is not built as a museum. It was the Victorian dock offices, opened in the 1870s, just on the junction between Queen's Dock and Prince's Dock. You know, ships literally sailed past it, people could see it every day. So it's seen a lot of history right on its doorstep. There's been celebrations and protests right up to modern day, right outside. So it's an iconic building and it's one of the sort of the symbols of the city, I think.
From the 1970s, when it was turned into a museum, very little investment had been made.
So the displays, they had their own charm. You know, it was a bit quaint, but you can't stay quaint forever.
It's an amazingly complex project. It's easy to just take the stuff out, you repaint the building and you put the stuff back in. Hopefully people will see when they come in that it's so much more than that. A lot of partnership working, people that were involved in helping us with the design, helping us with the construction. We've used local companies where we can. You've got the wider council staff in terms of the being able to fund it, being able to project manage it. The engagement with our communities has been huge, telling people, because the building's been closed, what's been going on, what's happening. And of course, we've got our elected members. We've had councillors that make the decisions on whether or not we're going to spend money on these things.
We have had an enormous multidisciplinary team. It's multiple large-scale capital projects all being delivered at the same time. So we went out for a multidisciplinary design team that's been led by Purcell architects, also included structural engineers, mechanical and electrical engineers, and lots of different specialisms that have come together to support us to protect the assets and make the most of them.
When the museum project came up and went for tender, it was on my radar straight away. I wasn't going to let us not work on it because it's a fantastic building. It's one of the buildings in Hull. I've lived in Hull all my life, so I absolutely love it. I wasn't going to let us not work on this building. We as a practice, we work on a lot of understanding and conserving and reimagining significant buildings. Lots of other sort of galleries, museums, nationally, internationally. And yeah, no project is ever the same. But it's interesting working on something that you've got so many memories and is so loved by the people. It's quite a responsibility. The brief was to essentially build on the success of the current museum and create a world-class exhibition museum, something that people from around the country will want to come and visit and that can hold its own against other museums around the country. We start with an understanding of the building that involves both the architectural team and the heritage consultants. Basically, it's an understanding of what's significant, how the building's developed, everything that's happened to it since its first construction and the condition as well. So all of that sort of feeds into the design ethos.
From the get-go, COVID hit. COVID affected the removal of over 50,000 items from the museum. When lockdown happened and people had to be 2 meters apart, trying to then move a bulky object, a heavy object, or sometimes even a light object that's delicate, needs extra hands to be able to make that happen. This building is an old lady and she needs a lot of time and attention, and you need to learn about her and her history to understand then how to look after her and what work needs to happen to her. And it's really difficult when you're trying to do that over a computer screen compared to actually getting in the building. So COVID absolutely had an impact. From my 20 years of experience working on historic buildings, there are unexpected things that you come across. For example, when we put the tender out, we were expecting to have to replace around 10% of the roof structure. In the end, we had to replace 100% because so much degradation had happened within that space.
Essentially, because the museum had been designed in the 1970s, a lot of the regulations didn't meet today's standards. There were some materials that you wouldn't necessarily install today. So there was a lot of sort of redesigning to sort of meet today's standards. A lot of the 1970s interventions as well just covered up a lot of the significant parts of the building. So it was really interesting being able to reveal all of the different layers.
And what we wanted to do is bring out the architecture of the building itself. It's a triangular shaped building. A lot of people couldn't really feel that before, but you really can now. So the atrium is our new welcome space. It helps people navigate the building more because you have that central space that you can always come back to.
And it draws the visitor through from the main entrance into this huge light-filled space.
The big, large courtroom downstairs is, had that investment in. The ceiling looks spectacular. You can go up into one of the domes now, which no one could ever do before unless you went on the roof and climbed through a window. So you get great views of the buildings.
You get a view of the whole city, and it links the building to the city of Hull as a whole, and you can see the scale of the maritime industry.
We've got opened a whole new extra floor, which is where I'm sat now, which people have never been in, never seen. There'll be objects people have never seen before or will see in a new light. One of the nice challenges to have in Hull is there's so much to go at. So we're not just a city and all we did was make bicycles or shoes. There's huge amounts of stories to go at. We did a lot of consultation to find out what was important to people, what their favourite objects were. We've tried to keep the spirit of the museum in many ways, but hopefully we're giving people extra stories they've not heard before, but lots of old favourites as well.
What we want is that people come in and feel really proud of the Maritime Museum, that it tells their story, that it reflects their community, their experiences. Before, we had very limited representation of women in the museum. And I think that story of the important role that women played within the communities of Hull is much better told now, much better represented.
We really listened to the curatorial team here because they already done a great job of selecting objects and stories they wanted to tell and really thinking about visitors and how they experience the stories and what kind of media you can use to make it a really engaging experience. Our approach was to start looking at the big objects first, so the big whale skeleton and the big ship models, and place them first because we knew they could only sit in certain places in the gallery, and then work the stories around them. So the big idea that the team communicated to us and that we took inspiration from was really how Hull is connected to the world through its maritime heritage, and we woven that throughout the museum. And at each gallery you can find a story that somehow connects Hull and the localness of Hull to the wider world, whether that be the Arctic, whether that be the Falkland Wars, or the transmigration stories from Europe. The team worked really hard to fill every nook and cranny of the museum, so we've really tried to maximize the display cases and the space for objects and stories. Our job was also to say maybe we need a pause, or maybe we need a bit more space for these stories because it's a big story and it needs that kind of room. So that's where our kind of design background came in. The team really pushed us to be as much accessible as possible. Obviously, some of these galleries are a bit narrower, so that kind of defines sometimes where certain elements or interactive or display cases will go. We made sure that everything in the museum is accessible by wheelchair users. We looked at the reading heights, the way we're designing the touch screens. So we really tried to make everything as tactile as possible as well. We looked out for opportunities where we can have BSL language signing and closed captions.
There's a new ramp to the entrance, to the main entrance. There's an increased lift, so that now serves all floors. It's bigger. There are a large number of toilets, accessible facilities, and a changing places facility, which is really good.
We wanted this museum to be world class, the same as anything that you walk into New York or Paris or London. I think we've achieved that, but what we wanted is for everybody in the city to feel that they can walk in and they deserve that world-class standard, and hopefully that's what it will turn out to be.
I think what's incredible is how we've become a family. You know, we really have become a family. And I feel so proud of us all. I feel really, we've delivered something really spectacular here. I've never had an opportunity or an experience like this. This is, for me, a career-defining project. I will never work on a project like this ever again. Everybody has cared so much about this project. Our heart and soul has gone into every single element of it, and everybody has cared so much because we want to make this spectacular. We want people to come in and love it. I have wanted to make sure that we've done the story justice for everybody of this community, and even consultants that aren't from Hull and have visited Hull for the first time because of this project. They have grown to love the city and have grown to love our maritime story and wanted to help us tell the story the best way possible. We are so proud, and we just cannot wait for people to come through the door and experience this amazing building and leave as really proud of their community and really proud of the city and how brilliant Hull as a city is. Hull's an amazing place. We're all so proud of it, we're proud of the project, and we just can't wait to welcome people through those doors.